Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Justin's Quest, and in today's video, I'm on a quest to find out how great is Alan Wake 2 a year and 2 DLCs later. After years and years of waiting, Alan Wake 2 came out last October to critical success with many calling it Game of the Year and praising its writing, direction and its atmosphere. I played Alan Wake 2 when it first came out, and I have to say, I agree with every praise this game gets. This is one of the best survival horror games I have played, and it still keeps up a year later. Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC is out, and I played it, so I felt like it was time to talk about the complete Alan Wake 2 experience. Alan Wake 2 is a survival puzzle horror game that feels like an A24 fever dream. The way the story unfolds, the characters interact with each other and their environments, and the game's experimentation with live action elements is what makes Alan Wake 2 stand out. I know that Remedy Entertainment has experimented with live action elements before in their games, but man, this one raises the bar so damn high. The gameplay for Alan Wake 2 still holds up. It plays very similarly to modern RE games, being most similar to Resident Evil 2 Remake. You control Alan Wake and Saga Anderson. They both get weapons, but the weapons differ like the environments that the characters are in. Let's start with Alan Wake. Alan gets a cool revolver that he can shoot these shadowy fade outs with. He also gets a flare gun, a double barrel shotgun, and most importantly, his trusty angel lamp. Alan is simpler in his arsenal because his gameplay sections are more psychological horror themed. The handling of the weapons feels smooth and quite realistic, with recoil and precision aiming. Even if it's simpler than your traditional RE style gameplay, it is still satisfying to play, as it is very well made. What makes Alan's gameplay unique and most importantly fun is the lamp puzzles. You can use this lamp to switch between environments, and I thought this was so fucking great. I absolutely love environment changing puzzles, as I feel more engaged with the game. On the other hand, Saga Anderson features a full-blown arsenal of various weapons, from a pistol to a rifle and shotguns. She is definitely more fun to play if you want more action-oriented gameplay. Her segments are more true detective-style thriller rather than Alan's psychological horror. Solving murder cases and puzzles in the woods gave me the chills at times. Both characters have a dodge mechanic, and that actually took me some time to get used to. It felt clunky at first, but once you get used to it, it's quite easy. And again, both characters have ammo and weapon spaces that you have to keep an eye out and organize it so you can fit more stuff. Once again, similarly to Resident Evil games. But what they differ in, like I mentioned before, their gameplay styles, but in their mind places. Saga's being a room that is a detective style, boards with pins, coffee stains on folders, papers lying everywhere. And Alan's is just an empty writer's room that only has a typewriter and a whiteboard. You can access these places at any time in the game to solve puzzles or find evidence. One detail I loved is again how the scenery and the environment changes whenever Alan uses new locations for his scenes on the whiteboard. All the gameplay features still hold up so well, and it is still very unique to experience even if it's not that deep enough. The story for this game is absolutely bonkers. I won't cover the whole thing as I still have the DLCs to talk about, but if you love A24 films, this game's story and the way it's told will feel very familiar to you. The game literally opens with a guy butt-ass naked. And I'm not sure if I can show you the whole thing, but yeah, that was different. A cult is sacrificing people for a cause, and that's how FBI agent Saga Anderson and her partner Alex Casey get involved in the story. They come to a small town called Bright Falls to investigate these murders, but in the dark place we follow Alan Wake trying to get out of there and find his wife. You can play Alan's storyline or Saga's storyline in any order you want after the beginning hours and before the point of no return. As their journeys get tangled together, the story builds up steam and doesn't stop there. It gets crazier and crazier, weirder and weirder, and more intriguing. I mean, just look at this dance number. It's really good to see Sam Lake happy and living his best life. The whole performance for the Game Awards was just amazing. I was super hooked on this story. I made sure to watch a recap of the first game as I didn't finish it. I played around 4 hours or so, but I just couldn't get into it, even though the story was very intriguing. And I can see why people were so excited for a sequel. The story and all of its weirdness worked for me, and I wanted Saga and Alan to defeat Mr. Scratch. Alan Wake was a fun protagonist to follow. His scenes with Mr. Door was super entertaining to watch. I loved it when he was clueless at times because I gave similar reactions while playing this game. Saga Anderson was a good character to reintroduce this world to older fans and introduce it to newer fans. Seeing all this play out from her point of view made me empathize with her and her story. The supporting characters were cool, but dude, Alex Casey was the coolest.
Sorry, what?
I know it can be an awkward question with the man sitting right next to you, but I mean, how do you feel about him in the role of Casey? Does he look the part to you?
He looks exactly like I always imagined Casey to be. It's uncanny.
Thank you. That means so much to me.
The notes we got to Max Payne and his connection to Alex really made me appreciate the game even more. Mr. Door and his sections were a trip fest. He had an otherworldly feel to him, yet he came across charming and likable. Mr. Scratch was a good inner demon villain for the game. Matter of fact, all these Easter eggs to older Remedy games were brilliantly implemented, from Control to Quantum Break to, like I mentioned, Max Payne. The overall gameplay could have had more depth as it came across too simple at times. It really works for the game's aesthetics of feeling like a big budget indie game, and some scenes dragged out too much for me, especially with the scenes involving Alan trying to figure out what has happened to his wife. I know this is one of the most important storylines in the game, but I wasn't super invested in it. Maybe because I haven't properly played the first game. But these are relatively small nitpicks, because this game is still an amazing horror experience and an overall excellent game. My score for Alan Wake 2 is a 9.5 out of 10. After finishing Alan Wake 2, I played this DLC.
What lengths would you go to save the object of your obsession in Night Springs?
Night Springs came out earlier, but I wanted to wait until the newest one was out so I could play it back to back. This DLC features 3 playable episodes which are part of the TV show that keeps being shown in the main game. They are these what-if scenarios that are set in the ever-expanding Remedy universe. Episode 1, Number 1 Fan. In this episode, we control Rose, Alan's number 1 fan from the main game, as she goes on a journey to find Alan. This was a good action-packed starter to the DLC. To be honest, I didn't expect to kill this many enemies. Rose felt like a badass, and the intentional fanfiction tone fit the game weirdly well.
Tonight's dreamlike episode, North Star.
Episode 2, North Star. An improvement over the first episode, this one stars Jessie Faden from Control as she's searching for her brother. It is mainly set in the theme park from the main game and features some fun puzzles. I wish we could have used her powers like we've seen in the Control game more, but sadly we didn't. We didn't even get her iconic weapon, but the build up and the execution of her search was super satisfying. Episode 3, Timebreaker.
Bending episode, Timebreaker.
This is the last episode in the Night Springs DLC, and it stars Shawn Ashmore as Shawn Ashmore? This was a super meta episode with Sam Lake appearing as a director, directing Shawn as he portrays one of his versions of the character he portrayed in the main game. This episode was easily my favorite. The atmosphere, the story build-up, and the way they tackled the multiverse was super creative. Some of the gameplay changes will really surprise you. I felt like it paid homage to video games and the entertainment media in general. Overall, Night Springs DLC was a great addition to the multiverse they set up. With each episode got better and better, that it made me appreciate the work they put into it more. I just wish it was a bit longer. Each episode is around 1 hour if you take your time. So my score for Night Springs DLC is a 9 out of 10. The Lake House DLC is the last additional content that Alan Wake 2 will get. It is bittersweet, but at least we got an excellent overall package. The Lake House stars FBC agent Karen Estevez as she investigates the Lake House, a research facility on the shores of Cauldron Lake. This DLC is set parallel to the main game and it is from Karen's point of view. It also ties to the wider universe through direct references to Control. I'm not gonna lie, this DLC scared the living shit out of me. Like the main game, the atmosphere they have built on top of the Control as setting really freaked me out. As you go down below the facility levels, the tension just built up. For me, I have to say it was scarier than the main game, and I haven't got this freaked out since Outlast 2. I paused and put the controller down multiple times. Okay, how is the actual game? It is very good. It plays like the main game and all the DLCs. You get weapons and a flashlight, but this DLC expands on this universe and gives the main game more context. The way it sets up Control 2 is very exciting. The enemies were your standard Taken enemies, but the paint monsters were creepy as hell, and only one gun in the game can be used to kill them. The story of this DLC tackles a very important topic in our lives at the moment: AI art. As the Dark Place gets drawn to art, the scientists in the house have been using AI to imitate real art, and all is gone to shit because of it. This was a great message with many metaphors, and to see this matter get addressed in Alan Wake 2 was fitting. The room with the typewriters gave me the chills. Man, this game overall is just amazing. The cinematography, the lighting, and everything is just top class. The Lake House was another great addition, and I will also give this one a 9 out of 10. Unlike Night Springs, which felt short, the Lake House felt short and sweet, and I felt very satisfied by the end. The overall package of Alan Wake 2 is definitely worth your time. So everyone, if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe and ring that notification bell. And tell me, what do you think of Alan Wake 2? Did you play the new DLC? How does it compare to other scary games? Comment down below, and I'll see everyone on the next video.